Season 53, War number 9, and we're up against NXT. This time my team will be Werewolf by Night, Onslaught, and Omega Sentinel. I will be taking Path 6 in Section 1, Path 1 in Section 2, then a Bishop, Maestro, as well as a Bullseye mini-boss, and that will be it for this war. Now, as you can see, this video is gonna be fully in 60 frames per second, and so will be every video from now on. That is the plan, at least. Gotta say, I'm absolutely loving 60 FPS, it looks so good, and well, let me know what you guys think about the whole addition to the game. Now, starting off here we have a Nick Fury on the Spiked Armor and Competition Prowess nodes, and I am taking the fight with Werewolf by Night. Now, the nodes here don't really do too much. It will be slightly more chip damage when baiting Nick Fury special ones, for example, but overall the buffs will only just help me gain power due to Mystic Dispersion whenever they expire. Other than that, the damage back from Spiked Armor is next to nothing, so as long as you manage Nick Fury's charges properly, it's not really all that big of a threat on this node specifically. Now, with 60 FPS, the game does feel very different to play, so I know for a fact that a lot of people have chosen not to change the setting on and instead still play 30 FPS, at least for the time being, at the very least to close out the season, and it is understandable. It took me a while to get used to 60 FPS as well, but I did a ton of beta testing for it, so I have a bit of a head start on the road to getting used to it, and yeah, so far I'm very happy with it, and I can basically play the game same as it would be in 30 FPS, at least now I can. Gotta say, I'm never going back though. It feels so much better, and it also enables some neat little things you can do, such as fully dexing Bullseye special ones, as you may have seen in my previous BG stream. It's a whole lot easier in 60 FPS, only because you are much more precise on your inputs on 60 frames, and that allows you to get the dex inputs in more closely together, more consistently, and that's essentially what's enabling that. Anyways, we're getting a little bit sidetracked here. This fight here is a Havok on the Aggression Prowess and Critical Setup nodes, and I'm taking the fight with Omega Sentinel. Plan is the same as usual, just get the heal blocks up, keep them up to deal with the defense tactic, get to the special 3 for the Plasma or Incinerate debuffs, and then use those to melt down the defender. Against Havok specifically, once you get the Plasmas on, do not, even by accident, trigger your auto block, so no intercepting with specials and no getting hit. If you do so, you will consume every single one of your armor buffs for the auto block, and then you start detonating from the plasma debuffs due to all the plasma build-up debuffs due to all the plasma debuffs that are on Havok, inflicting energy damage and ramping him up that way. So overall, as long as you know what not to do in the fight and you play it safe, using specials with Omega Sentinel there is safe enough, where I feel comfortable doing it, but you can also just ignore the special 3 and the special 2 completely and just rely on your basic damage. That will also get the fight down. Maybe just a little bit slower though. Then we have a Toad on the Never Back Down node, and I am taking this fight with Omega Sentinel. Heal block to shut down the defense tactic, as well as the unblockable node here, which basically means whenever the opponent triggers a specific amount of regeneration effects, while not under the effect of a heal block, they'll go unblockable. But, well, Omega Sentinel, she does heal blocks very well. As soon as you get one on, it is very possible to keep it up for the whole duration of the fight, and here a single special 2 is enough to close it out in a little bit over 30 seconds. Then, next up we have an Iron Man Infinity War on the Buffet over time and Arc Overload nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Omega Sentinel as well, which probably isn't a surprise at this point. Now she is immune to Nullify, so the Buffet node will not be able to trigger here, and well, all you really gotta do here as well is to just get to that special 3 for the Incinerate debuffs, after which you can just keep them paused by spamming heavy attacks. The heavy attacks are great against this specific matchup, because the heavies will not get auto-blocked whenever Iron Man here has at least 4 armor ups, and that is essentially the biggest threat of the fight. The armor buff from the Arc Overload node does count for the auto-block, so you do need to keep a very close eye on that, never to hit him while he has at least 4 of them. So I'm being very extra careful here, ramping up my power bar, getting to that special 3, and once I'm there, the fight is basically over. I went ahead and threw a heavy into a special 3 here to pause the... or to trigger the pause in the first place, pauses the heal block as well as the following incinerates from the special 3 right off the bat, and now reparries into heavy attacks. That's all I gotta do for the rest of the fight. The incinerates will do the rest. Iron Man Infinity War is a very tanky defender, but one of his biggest weaknesses is damage over time, and that is something that Omega Sentinel does very well, as you can see. The power gain phase when he enters that 15% range is also greatly cut down by the attack tactic as well as the heal blocks, or I guess because of the heal blocks due to the attack tactic. Something along those lines, I'm sure you get what I mean. I just have some trouble forming sentences at times, which probably you already know as well. Then we have the good old Bishop on the Power Snack and 1 too many hits mini-boss node. Hate taking the fight, but I'm still here basically every single war, because I made the mistake of taking it early in the season. It worked out, so that's the first thing we look at when planning wars, and yeah, I might regret it a little bit, but regardless, so long as I can keep getting the fight down without dying, I can't complain too much. Now, as usual, game plan is get the heal block up, keep it up, get the special 3, use it for the plasmas, and then that's about it. I only made this guy special 2, and once again, I still, for whatever reason, not even on 60 frames per second, I just can't consistently fully dex the special 2. I end up hitting the last hit, which is the reason why I once again used an invulnerability boost here. It's a bit of a waste, but honestly, I kinda have to. And this guy's AI here is ridiculous. He's just throwing the special ones, which is the one thing you don't want him to do. And I'm stuck here needing to wait out the incinerate aura thing he has. I can't remember the name of it. But basically, if you stand close to him, you're getting incinerated. That while Omega Sentinel does have some energy resistance, I still don't want to be stacking too many of them up. So a light whiff trick to wait it out is what I tend to do. And at this point, I got the special 3 off, got the plasmas, got the heal block. So now I am just, well, waiting around for the plasmas to finish out the defender. One more special one here, didn't crit on the last hit, so it didn't finish out the fight, but a following 17k crit on a medium, and down he goes. I took a ton of damage between chip damage, the incinerates, and just being dumb, but that was the final fight for Omega Sentinel, so it's not a problem. Don't even have to waste a single potion on that. And then we have a Maestro on the Hazak Shift Shock and Incinerate miniboss node along with Conflictor, and I am taking this fight with Onslaught. Onslaught is one of the best options for this specific node set, because he does not take damage from Incinerates or Shocks. Instead, they ramp up the Neuroshocks on the defender, so you can skip your damage ramp up with the special 1 by simply getting to your special 2 first. The ramp up happens whenever you get those damaging debuffs on you, and it'll slowly but surely ramp up all the Neuroshocks you need, though in this specific matchup I'm having some trouble actually getting any of the debuffs on me. I'm getting good RNG that I'm not getting the debuffs, but in this specific instance it's bad RNG because I need them for the ramp up. Regardless, I got the special 2 of here, 15 degens, which is close enough to the full 20, that the fight is now going down fairly smoothly the rest of the way. I just gotta keep the degens paused by landing heavy attacks whenever possible, and one more special one here. It increases the degen damage during your special attack for every Daunted, in this case a Daunted passive, as well as a debuff on the defender, speeding up the fight a little bit, but overall the special one Special 1 itself doesn't really do too much in that matchup. It is just to increase the degen damage with the Daunted. Now, one thing to note there, the pause on Onslaught's heavy attacks is not subject to ability accuracy, so it will go right through Maestro's glancing, which then allows you to, well, take the fight down as well as he did right there. It's a very good thing to know. Then we have the final fight of the war, an Onslaught on the Polka Dot Power and Stun Reflection mini-boss node, along with Brute Force of course, and I'm taking the fight with Werewolf by Night. This is a matchup that I have taken many times in the past, and I will probably be taking this many times in the future as well. Werewolf is just an excellent option for this due to the constant rupture debuffs, the ability to gain power faster by howling, and overall just his damage output. It makes him very good for this. Now the regeneration of course as well, while the curse is active, allows you to offset some of the damage you will inevitably take from the Brute Force node, though it will not be able to completely save you from it, so you do need to keep an eye on the Brute Force and get it off of you as soon as you can, whenever you can. Any opportunity to land a hit to reset the timer, you kinda have to take it, because if the AI is being very passive, as well as if they have special ready to go and then being passive, you can't afford to sit around waiting, dancing and waiting a special. You need to land a hit to reset the timer, or you're just gonna melt from the degeneration. It kinda sucks, I don't like Brute Force nodes anymore. Too many champions have way too long of a special animation to be a great interaction with the node, so I don't think it should be a thing anymore. But regardless, fight goes down, took a ton of damage from the Brute Force, but again, final fight of the war, it doesn't matter. Now as for the results, we did end up actually winning this war 8-7. We were really in the ropes throughout the whole war, but luckily, in the final around 15 minutes of the war, when they were clearing their final fights, they ended up dropping a couple deaths, which then allowed us to win this one. So we really lucked out there, and we still keep dying way too much to keep up with the top alliances, but still somehow hanging on to a pretty high rank this season.